plays harder to come by. Well, let's see about that. At the Public, Suzanne Laurie Parks has adapted the film version of The Harder They Come that was produced and directed by Perry Henswell and co-written with Trevor Ronell. And now it has a Jimmy Cliff score, but there's some new songs now by Suzanne Laurie Parks. Ivan, he's coming straight from the country to the big city of Kingston, Jamaica, where his mother Daisy is. He is hoping to sell his songs and become a great star. He encounters many obstacles along the way, but nothing is going to deter him. Ivan seeks refuge working in the church headed by the charismatic preacher who lives there with his ward, Elsa. Lyle has designs on Elsa. He takes charge of Ivan and keeps him very busy. But Ivan and Elsa fall in love, which angers not only Lyle, but the preacher who had planned to marry the girl himself. Shades of Judge Turpin and Sweeney Todd. Hilton, he controls all the music in Kingston and takes advantage of Ivan and robs him of his song. Ivan, in desperation to provide for him and Elsa, because they're married now, goes along with his friend Pedro to work for Jose selling drugs. Ray is the correct cop that helps Jose run the drug trade smoothly. Everything comes to a head when Ivan, who is fed up with the people in power robbing the poor working folk of a fair livelihood for their work and for taking away all of his song rights. Will Ivan be the cowboy hero that inspires him? Will his dream of fame and fortune from his brilliant music come to fruition? With its reggae-driven score, Edgar Godineau choreography, this was a provocative musical. I never saw the film, but I'm a huge fan of reggae music. This was more than a small towner coming to a big city to fulfill a dream story. It's about the little guy who can never catch a break and goes up against the rich and powerful and tries to make life better for himself and the people like him, whether they want it or not. All the performers were spectacular. Nady Jones went from optimistic, conquer the world, to the world conquering him. Mika as a sweet, strictly brought up girl to a woman with a strong sense of right. J. Bernard Calloway made a great self-righteous bully, much like I said, Judge Turpin and Sweetie Todd, and Ken Robinson was a villainous as another bully, but in this case, economical and creative. Garfield Hammonds, as the understudy for the drug kingpin, had just the right amount of swagger and deceptive helpfulness to fool anyone into thinking he was a good guy. Dundee Joseph Jr. was an oily, corrupt cop that made your skin crawl. Jacob Ming Trent, who was so hilarious in Red Bull's The Alchemist, played the noble sidekick with great sensitivity and empathy. It was so nice to finally have a show with a scrappy hero, innocent ingenue, and many evil bad guys to go against. Happy face.
So last week I went and saw a very good production of Yasushi Inoue's 1949 piece, The Hunting Gun. It is playing at the Baryshnikov Art Center at 450 West 37th Street, and it stars a very well-known Japanese actress, Mika Nakatani, and Mikhail Baryshnikov. It is presented by Emanuela Barilla, adapted for the stage by Serge Lamotte, and directed by Francois Girard. It is a very traditional Japanese story done in an almost Rashomon-like style, where a single storyline is portrayed by three different women, all of whom are portrayed by Miss Nakatani superbly. She plays a schoolgirl who discovers that her mother has been having an adulterous affair for years with her uncle. She plays the wife of the uncle who has known about the affair since she first married the man. And she also plays the mother, who is the one who's been having the affair. Every single time she becomes a different person. Her looks change, her voice changes, her costume changes, her mannerisms change. She is 3 in 1. It's astonishing. It's a real tour de force performance, and it makes the whole thing worthwhile seeing. Baryshnikov, unfortunately, he spends the entire play behind a heavy scrim. You can't tell it's him. He does nothing but stare at a gun and fondle it. And I guess he was just there for the name recognition. I don't know. There are subtitles that are projected onto the scrim. They are timed to the actress's performance, so sometimes they disappear before you have a chance to finish reading them, but you can pretty much figure out what's going on. The sets are astonishing. They change as quickly and as astonishingly as Ms. Nakatani. So I would suggest anybody who is interested in any kind of classical Japanese theater, go see this. It's playing Tuesday through Saturday nights through April 15th, and I give it a happy face plus because it was a great 2 hours.
Matthew McLaughlin's This Gosh Darn House, but think of stronger language. I just can't say that word. Anyway, it's a problematic title for me. In this play, there is a mother from hell as she manipulates her sons while they try to help vacate her home from which she's been evicted. Poor steadfast Jacob, with a child on the way, is trying to help his mother clear all of her hoarded crap as she has to leave the premises in 24 hours due to not paying her mortgage in months. Danny, the younger brother and now a famous writer, has flown in to help his brother out. They are faced with a mountain of garbage that Angie, their mother, expects to take to Jacob's house, even though he has tried to tell her that with a new baby on the way, that would not be feasible. Angie, who was an art teacher, has her former teacher's aide, Hannah, also coming to help out. We see Angie's true color when the very pregnant Allie, Jacob's wife, comes to check on him. At first, I sympathized with the mom. I could relate to not wanting to part with sentimental items, but she took it to a whole new level. Plus, she was very frail, having difficulty sitting and getting up from a chair, which is also something I struggle with. You will be horrified when you enter and see David Henderson's set filled to the brim with a ton of stuff. Not even Hercules could get this emptied in 24 hours. It was very clever. Between scenes, they moved the clock face so we could see in real time all they were accomplishing. Still, there was the suspense of whether they could achieve it. The writing and acting was superb. Anyone with a complicated relationship with a parent, difficult parent, will understand the sentiment of this play that isn't sentimental at all. Mark, you would have loved this one. Kirk Koskowski as Jacob tried to be the dutiful son, understanding brother, supportive husband, and got torn on all sides. How long before he snaps? Or will he? Gabriel Richtholt as Danny got the brunt of his mother's abusive upbringing. He may have gotten away and made a success of himself, but still he can't seem to have any solid relationships and just drifts through life. Rika Doacampa as Hannah has a completely different view of Angie, who looked after her during a painful time in her life. Christina Perry as Allie came charging as a catalyst out to rescue her decent husband from the clutches of this master manipulator. None of this wouldn't work if you didn't have an actor of the caliber of Sashi Parker, who was able to make us think she wasn't as awful as the brothers were grousing about. We had to like her to some extent, or we'd just be thinking, why are these boys putting up with her if she's so awful? There were so many good lines in this play. I cannot recommend this play enough. I just wish it had a better title. Major happy face. And note, Sashi Parker is the daughter of Shirley MacLaine. And you look at her, you think, oh my God, she's so familiar. Where have I seen her? And you realize you've seen her in her mother. So go see this. It's a really one of these surprising, wonderful plays.
Endgame by Samuel Beckett. I've heard that Samuel Beckett loved this play of his very much. This play is about a man who's blind. His name is Ham. He's on a wheelchair and he has a servant, Flo, which is performed by Bill Irwin, and the blind man is Ham is Douglas Thompson Johnson, and it's
J. Douglas Thompson.
Yeah. The play takes place in a room, which is the most claustrophobic room I have ever seen. Brilliant set design. There are walls which are like, he keeps telling Bill Irwin's character, open the windows, open the door, take the curtains away. And there's nothing but bricks. This play is about they are eternally waiting for something which is going to come to everybody, and that is death, which is the favorite topic of Samuel Beckett. And then his parents are legless and they are living in the garbage bins. The mother is Nell, wonderfully played by Patrice Johnson Sivan. and the father is Nag, played by Joe Grifasi. This play is like very dark, very, very dark play, dark atmosphere, and incredible humor in it. And this time I really felt that me and Eva were laughing constantly throughout. The cast is so brilliant that you just cannot believe it. It's fantastic. The direction is fantastic.
Kieran O'Reilly.
Karen O'Reilly. And I can watch this play again and again. And I gave a very, very happy face. I love Beckett as well, and love John Douglas Thompson and Bill Irwin. You should go see a play if it's still running. I think it's still running. Very happy face.
Yeah, it's going till the 9th. You know me, I do not like Beckett. I do not get Beckett. I think he's horrible. But you put in Bill Irwin and John Douglas Thompson and Joe Grifasi from Edwin Drood, who's always never gets the part. But well, here he got the part, maybe a small part, but he ran with it. Although he couldn't run with it because he had no legs. Oh no, this actually would be. I mean, come on, you got a clown like Bill Irwin, and you got a mighty actor, and you put a clown and a mighty actor together. Actually, I've seen this play before, and I've never liked it. So this is a rare time I have enjoyed a Beckett play, believe it or not. So this is for Beckett haters and Beckett lovers. So I give this a happy face, even though, it's a depressing subject. I mean, the guy is this a horrible, tyrannical, whiny, and he can't do anything. And, even though he's horrible, you do feel sorry for him because, the poor man is helpless. But there's this poor Bill Irwin, like, it's almost like, again, with the doll's house, it's like, is he going to finally give up and say, I can't take this anymore and just leave him alone to die and just.
No, Clove says to him, why do you want me around all the time? And he says, for dialogue. And I realize how important it is between human beings to have a dialogue, which no one is having now because they're always on the screen and they just look at you and they never even look at you. So even the man's life is absolutely horrendous. He needs a person there because the incredible loneliness in this situation, and he needs the dialogue. I just love it.
He can't do anything by himself, obviously.
We need people. We need somebody around.
Yeah, I mean, the parents can't do anything because they're stuck in a garbage can. The only person that can do anything is Bill Irwin. He's the only one that has choices.
Yeah, that's true. But he doesn't have love is a tragedy also. He is fond of him. So, the choice is to stay kind of most of the time. And there's another line I loved. He says, what is Nag doing? What is my father doing? And he said, he's crying. He said, oh, that means he's living.
Yeah, you don't need to know anything else but that line, that he's crying, that means he's living. That's good enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so surprisingly enough, I'm giving this a surprising happy face. David Anzuelo's Dia y Noche is a story of a budding bromance between two unlikely people in high school. Danny is practicing his guitar when he is annoyingly interrupted by Martin carrying his oboe and wanting to jam with Danny. Danny speaks sharply and almost drives Martin away, but realizes he is being a dick and even tries to teach Martin how to play his guitar. They end up becoming fast friends. Danny even plays wingman and gets his girlfriend Edna to bring along her friend Jessica for Martin. The four become quite close, sharing secrets with some, dreams with others, while trying to navigate life, love, and friendship. All of it gets tested, but friendship ultimately conquers all differences and setbacks. My friend and I just loved this play so much. She especially liked how the sex scenes were an organic, necessary part of the play and gave the characters greater dimension and humanity. She thought it was brilliant writing by David Anzuelo. I think he created such vivid characters that we cared so very deeply about. It helped to have this outstanding cast. They all put on these fronts to cover up their real feelings, and I will read more on Facebook, but for now, don't miss this wonderful play. Major happy face from me and my friend.
Ibsen's A Doll's House is on Broadway with Jessica Chastain. It's a new version by Amy Herzog, which to me flows much more naturally than any other text of it that I've heard. It's the story of a childlike wife who caters to her husband's desires for her to be perky and bird-like all the time, but she hides sweets, and she's hiding another secret of how she kind of illegally, basically, borrowed money to save his life years back. She's hoping that if he finds out about it, he'll be noble, forgiving, and even threaten to kill himself. But she'll be very surprised by his real response, and she'll probably grow up. This is a play that normally I find a bit boring, but in this very stripped down, stark version of it, where the words really pop out and the performances of the characters' inner feelings grab you, I was riveted for the first time by the text. I really thought Jessica Chastain was very subtle. She is a movie star after all, but conveyed every nuance of the character's predicament. And I thought the cast was really convincing as their characters. And I especially liked Michael Patrick Thornton as the family friend, the doctor who is in serious medical trouble himself. So for me, this avant-garde, kind of like a Ivo van Hove X-ray of the piece, worked very well, but I don't think it'll work for everyone.
Yes, I'm the everyone it didn't work for, because Jamie Lloyd directed this like he was Ivo van Hove, and you know how I feel about Ivo van Hove. So it opens up, she's dressed in black, sitting on a chair, staring vacantly into space, Jessica Chastain, Nora, and she's on this turntable that just goes around and around and around, and people enter and they sit and they go around and around, or they stand and go around and around. And it's like, and they just look at the audience and talk to us. And it's like, you know, it was just horrible. I freaking hated it so much. And don't forget, there's the friends too who come to visit and kind of take over things.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Christine, Jasmel Darbouz, and then there's the threatening guy, Niels, or I can't pronounce his name. And
Krogstad, and yeah, it's a difficult name. You'll have to see.
Yeah, look, and Tasha Lawrence, who I guess plays the nanny. I love Tasha Lawrence. She's such a good actress. But no, everything about this, it was just so horrible to me. It was not a doll's house. It was, again, the director just showing off himself. Like, I'm the director. I'm going to just throw the text out the window and just do whatever I want and be avant-garde. And, you know, the only good thing was the ending. That was the only good thing, the way they had the ending. That was dramatic because she finally got off the bloody chair.
Well, it's, you know, the world turned around for her finally.
Ugh.
Again, at first I thought it was a total affectation to have that turn.
It was.
But it really is about changing perspective and coming to see the world in a different way. And that's what growing up essentially is. Again, something that will either work for you and illuminate the text, which it sticks so close to,
oh, please.
Or it will totally repel you.
Oh, please. Oh, please. First of all, no costumes, no set. I think he thought he was doing art.
It's the words, though, that are important.
They had the children's voices. They had people's voices. You hardly ever saw the people. They were either sitting or voiceovers. I mean, and so the nanny, she's a nanny for what? Voices? No, this was garbage, garbage, garbage.
I gave it a happy face.
A miserably unhappy face, the hugest unhappy face you ever saw in your life.
Some Like It Hot has a book by Matthew Lopez and Amber Ruffin, music by Mark Scheinman, and lyrics by Scott Whitman and Mark Scheinman. It's based on the famous 1959 Billy Wilder film that starred Marilyn Monroe, and it has the same story about two male jazz musicians who witness a mob execution and have to escape for their lives, and they find safety dressed in drag in an all-girls jazz band. But this really has an updated modern sensibility. The leader of the band, which
Sweet
Sweet
Sue.
Sue, is Black, and so is Sugar Cane, the Marilyn Monroe role. And it's very much aware of 30s prejudices that might still affect us now. But it still maintains the humor and the liveliness of the original film and has wonderful choices. It's a really good, big musical.
Yeah, I mean, all the changes really work in this,
Mhm.
and it's like, wow. And of course, it has when you have Christian Borle in the Tony Curtis role and J. Harrison Ghee in the Jack Lemmon role, and Adriana Hicks is playing Sugar Cane, and Natasha Yvette Williams is Sweet Sue, and you have Adam Heller as as the manager of the band, and Mark Lotito is, Spats Colombo, the thing. But here, what they are more than musicians, they're tap dancers. So that's how they wow the gangster, and that's how they end up playing in the gangster club, is because they did this incredible tap dance. I mean, it was wonderful. And then, the tango scene, the famous tango scene that they have in the movie. You have Kevin De La Guila as, the rich guy who's like, married a million times, and he's short. And then you have J. Harrison Ghee, who's so tall, and it just makes it even funnier than before. And we should say it's directed and choreographed by Casey Niccolo, who, he did something right. He's great at choreographing comedic, splashy, tap dancing, costume, scenery changing, old fashioned musical. I mean, this is just like a throwback to the golden age of musicals, and it's got this very surprising ending that we don't want to give away, but it just makes you feel good and happy, and you just want to, like, you can't stop smiling. I mean, this gets a major happy face from me. And the music, I mean, Scott Whitman and Mark Shaman, they're just masters at making these wonderful Broadway show tunes. I mean, think Hairspray. I mean, come on, you're still singing the music from that. How many decades it's been. And the same thing with this one. You just want to sing and dance your heart out after seeing
Yeah, it's a really successful transition from movie to musical that recreates it in a new and refreshing way and is a really big, satisfying Broadway musical.
And this is not to be confused with a musical from like the 60s or 70s called Sugar that had Robert Morris in it. And I saw it in London with Tommy Steele. No, this is even better. So definitely go see this one. Tap dance your way over to see this.
Happy faces again from both of us.
Bad Cinderella, with a score by Andrew Lloyd Webber, lyrics by David Zappel, and a book by Emerald Fennell, is where, in this case, Bad Cinderella is a badass and doesn't care about the beauty is our duty, which is the motto of the townfolks. And she's friends with the introverted spare to the throne, Sebastian, who now has to become king as his brother, Prince Charming, has gone missing. Sebastian's mother, the queen, wants him to get married and has the prerequisite ball. So she's foisting poor Sebastian, who's shy and miserable, out into the public to get married. Well, Cinderella's evil stepmother, she knows about the queen's shady past and blackmails her to make one of her daughters queen. The sisters are just as shallow and ditzy as ever. Will Cinderella succumb to the pressures of makeup and a pretty frock and go to the ball like Sebastian has requested? I mean, in this case, she's been invited to the ball. Or will the evil stepmother thwart her? And is a fairy godmother even necessary in this story? I gotta tell you, just to see a duet between Grace McLean, the queen, and Carolee Carmela, the evil stepmother, is worth the price of admission. The two of them are just brilliant together. I mean, I just love this. It's just pure silly entertainment with lots of very hunky half-dressed men to drool over. In fact, before the show even started and I saw this handsome gay audience, I said to my friend, there must be a sexy man in this. Turns out they were all gorgeous. I mean, I am totally recommending this to all my gay and straight female friends. For once, forget diabetes. We get the eye candy and it is quite yummy. And the sisters, they had great comic timing. And Cinderella was tough and vulnerable. And it was nice to see a gawky but very cute prince. And we got the understudy, who I really have to give kudos to. Julio Ray was played Sebastian over Jordan Dobson. So I don't know how Jordan Dobson is, but Julio Ray, he is someone to look out for. I'm going to pay attention to his career. I actually love this. It was just so much fun. And I know critics are just grumpy old men. So forget them. Enjoy yourself and go see this. Happy face. Our next show is April 22nd. But before that, a lot of shows are going to be closed and we're going to have to just have the review on our Facebook page. So closing April 8th is Drinking in America from Audible. Closing April 16th is Zephyr at the New Victory, and Sasha Clark's review should show up at some point. And Starlight is at Mitzi Newhouse by one of my favorite playwrights, Keith Bunin. Oh my God, he's got another play. And at 59 East 59th Street, not only is there a Noche going on, but you've got Judy Golden, Yes I Can, closing on the 16th. And according to the chorus from my other favorite theater company, New Light, that's closing April 15th, and it's got Karen Ziemba in it. And you must go to the National Dance Institute Gala on April 17th. Oh my God, I went to their last gala, and it was just, I was crying. I was just so moved with all those talented kids. And April 19th, 92nd Street Y. I mean, they've got their real pieces, but Al Pacino's going to be there and a bunch of other cool events. So check out 92nd Street Y. On Always 54 Below, always has something cool going on. And finally, April 22nd, they're doing that old musical Vanities at the York. And that should be quite exciting to see. So lots going on, plus tons of Broadway shows opening up. So enjoy.